Here are 4 unique builds for each of Psyker's staves. Before we begin, a quick note. For all of these builds, I will always be recommending Quietude and Kinetic Deflection, the former because it works the best with staves, and the latter because it's the best in slot even after the nerf. The Anti-Special and Elite build focuses on shutting down special and armored elite units, preventing them from being able to wreak havoc on your team. Surge Staff allows you to hard stagger any special and elite unit in the game, making them easy pickings for your team. Pairing Force Sword with the staff opens up an effective combo. Stagger any unit with the Surge Staff, then charge up your Force Sword while they're still being stunned and finish them off before they have the chance to react. For feats, you'll want to run Psychonetics Wait a minute. Isn't that the name of the ultimate? Wait, why are they named the same thing? For feats, you'll want to run Psychonetics Wrath, Psychic Communion, Warp Battery, and Ascendant Blaze. Psychonetics Wrath will further weaken enemies stunned by your staff and make them easier to kill, while Psychic Communion and Warp Battery help buff Ascendant Blaze. The idea of this build is to primarily hard stagger enemies with Surge Staff, but sometimes the most dangerous enemies are in the middle of a horde, which makes it nearly impossible to target them. Ascendant Blaze aids with this, as ulting with 6 charges will both knock back the general trash of a horde and will kill them, leaving only those who you'd want to target with your staff remaining. Your team won't always be there to take out the enemies you stunlock though, which is why you use Force Sword so that you can just do it yourself if need be. The Stagger build focuses on utilizing all stagger that Psykers have in their kit, allowing you to consistently knock your enemies to the ground so that they won't be on their feet. After its buff, the Trauma Force Staff excels at horde control and precise ranged stagger. With the ability to kill hordes, gib ranged units, and stagger every non-boss unit in the game with an uncharged right-click, save for mutants, the Trauma Staff has the highest stagger and crowd control out of any staff at Psyker's disposal. Just remember that if you knock part of a horde behind your frontliner, it's your job to clean them up since you put them there in the first place. You will struggle a bit against elite units and single targets, but pair this with the Mark V Dueling Sword and you'll have plenty of single target damage to round out your build. For feats, you'll want to run Psychonetics Wrath, Psychic Communion, Kinetic Flare, and Quicken. Psychonetics Wrath will aid in boosting the staff's overall DPS since you'll be using it more often than not, and Quicken will help boost your stagger potential in 2 ways. Faster ults means more casting time with your staff, as well as more staggering power from the ultimate itself. Psychic Communion helps with reaching max stacks for Quicken since you won't be head popping too much with this build, and Kinetic Flare helps to do extra damage to bosses and carapace armored enemies. If you wanted to get even more value out of Quicken, you could replace Kinetic Flare with Warp Battery, but I personally find that this build functions perfectly fine without it. Plus, Kinetic Flare always saves my butt at the most crucial moments. The idea with this build is to primarily focus on using your staff to control hordes and dangerous groups of enemies from range, but due to the staff having a set stagger power that does not scale up with charge time, you can also use it to quickly and repeatedly stagger 1 or 2 isolated enemies. And if you ever start to lose control of a situation or need to quickly reduce your peril, you can freely ult to help you and don't have to worry about saving it for the right time since you'll always have it up more often than not. For those situations where there is too much armor directly in front of you to control, you can switch to your Mark V Dueling Sword, which will make dealing with them a breeze. The only thing that people would say is an issue regarding this build is that the Trauma Staff tends to hurt more often than it helps due to it staggering enemies into your allies, but this is easily avoidable by either focusing on the backline ranged units or the end of a horde rather than the front of a horde, or by centering your bursts onto your team so that the enemies will always be staggered away from them. The Discount Veteran build aims to do the job that veterans usually have, focusing on dispatching and suppressing your enemies at range. The Voidstrike Staff excels at this due to its pinpoint accuracy, no damage falloff, and lack of projectile drop, making it the best staff for more ranged heavy combat, and its horde clear and horde control potential is nothing to scoff at either. Because you'll be engaging in plenty of ranged battles, a Force Sword with deflection would be ideal to help you close the gap, but due to its rarity that won't always be possible. The second best option would be the Combat Knife, as its high mobility and dodge range makes it easy to avoid ranged fire, allowing you to reposition and close the gap with ease. For feats, you'll want Inner Tranquility, Psychonetics Aura, Kinetic Flare, and Kinetic Barrage. Inner Tranquility helps to keep you casting more often. While you could run Psychonetic's Wrath if you preferred more damage, being able to get more shots or brain bursts off during hordes and critical moments when your team needs you tends to be more important in my opinion. Kinetic Flare is the default choice since the other feats in the row don't synergize well with this build, Psychonetic's Aura is helpful to get your ult back faster, and Kinetic Barrage is crucial for those moments when you need a sniper-esque attack in the moment. The idea with this build is to use Void Staff in moments when accuracy isn't really needed, such as during a horde or when a bunch of ranged units are clumped together in an area, as Voidstrike's projectiles are fairly large and cleave through many units. However, there will be situations in which pinpoint accuracy and extra damage is necessary, such as when ranged units are spread out far across a battlefield or when fighting bulwarks, which is when you would use your ult to proc Kinetic Barrage and use Brain Burst to take care of the enemy Ogrins, delete some pesky gunners behind cover, or get some extra boss DPS in. The extra speed that Brain Burst gets after Barrage will help you kill elite units more efficiently, proccing Psychonetic's Aura and allowing you to get your ult back faster to just repeat the process over again. However, keep in mind that this feat only procs for you when you get the killing blow and does have a hidden cooldown between players. Finally, the anti-horde build is exactly what it sounds like. There won't be many hordes around when you're using this. The Purgatus Staff's main focus is that of horde clearing and horde control, but it is equally as effective against elites and specials who are unfortunate enough to be caught within its range. There really isn't a specific melee weapon that should be paired with this build, but I would recommend one of the Devil's Claw swords as their effectiveness and flexibility in combat is really nice to have. For feats, you'll want Inner Tranquility, Psychic Communion, Warp Battery, and Ascendant Blaze, although you can once again switch out Inner Tranquility for Wrath if you so desire. All of these feats listed help in buffing up Ascendant Blaze. These feats alone are a powerful combo on their own, as a casting of Ascendant Blaze at 6 warp charges is enough to clear a general horde in Damnation, but this combo becomes even more powerful with the Purgatus Staff for one main reason. All of the damage over time effects applied by the staff are considered Soul Blaze effects, which will trigger the secondary effect of Ascendant Blaze. Running this build almost ensures that you will have 6 warp charges going into a horde, and chaining your ultimate into a channel from your staff ensures that not only will the horde be melted down in seconds, but you'll also get a significant number of warp charges back, ensuring you can do it again when the next horde comes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe for more Darktide content in the future. See y'all next time!